Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and this is An Englishman Abroad, where we are out in Thailand managing Buriram United. In today's episode we're going to go through our end of season review, which is our second season out in Thailand. We are also going to push forwards in the save to the point of this new season. I'm going to go through the transfer window, have some players come in, have some players go out. If you're enjoying the series so far and you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on in game, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you also like today's video and you want to hit the thumbs up, that'd be much appreciated. Every time that you do that, it helps the channel. Any comments you have for me, leave them in the box below. Try and interact with as many people as I can. I love hearing the feedback on the series, especially with managing in a league that's not in Europe. It's a real challenge. So, we are going to get into today's video. Okay, so let's have a look at the new arrivals. We were quite busy in the transfer market for both of the transfer windows. Quite a few players come in, quite a few players leave. We had problems with some of the foreign players and the foreign quotas that we were allowed. We managed to move some of the foreign players on, and then the replacements that we got in played quite well throughout the season. Our key signing for the season was our goalkeeper Santiago Mella. Got him on a free transfer. Ended up playing 49 games with a 7.06 rating, which is fantastic for a free transfer. The board seems to be pleased that he has a £1 million minimum fee release, which they think is good value, but to be honest, I don't want to lose him for that amount of money. We also brought back to Thai football Matthias Alves, played in 30 games, had a goal return of 14, he had 5 assists, and he also finished on a 7.05 rating, so didn't set the world alight, but he was a there and then player that we brought in to do a job. I think he will probably move on in the summer. We've got 2 exciting South Americans that look to come in as we're going to try and build this squad for the future. So in terms of the season's results, we were expected to win the Thai League. We duly obliged. We had another invincible season. We finished on 84 points. We had a 21-point lead total over Bangkok United. As I was saying during some of the videos, I feel like we've got the domestic football wrapped up. Our team seems to be a lot better than anything in the league, so it looks like we can just kick on with that. We did very well with an impressive 73 goal difference. In the Asian Champions League, we got knocked out in the semi-finals, which was progress from last season. The board only wanted us to reach the second round, so we far exceeded that. It's just a shame that we blew a 3-1 lead in the first leg and then didn't turn up in China at all, as we were heartbroken in China for that. So that remains the big objective of the save, is to go and win the Asian Champions League with Buriram United. We got knocked out of the Thai FA Cup again. This is another tournament that seems to elude us. Got through to the 6th round. The board wanted to win it, so we didn't deliver on that. For the Thai League Cup, we won it for the 2nd season in a row. Board don't seem to think it's very important, but it's another piece of silverware that we can add to the trophy cabinet. And the start of season Thailand Champions Cup, we managed to win that as well. So in terms of our moments to remember from across the season, there were times when the fans didn't think it was possible, but some great goals and impressive results made them believe. So our biggest win was a 10-0 win in the Asian Champions League against SLNA. That was quite a memorable game because it was early on in the season, and it really showed us that we had built a team that is capable of doing it at that stage. We also won 8-0 against Nong Boya Pichaya in the Thai League. It's a bit sad for them really, because they're a newly promoted team and we really put them to the sword. Moanta, Panya, everybody, even Lima, who was a defender, got a hat-trick in that game. So it was a fantastic game. And then our goal of the season for this season goes to Faisal Zayed. Memorable goal for the striker as he dribbles from inside the Samat Prakan City half before scoring a well-struck effort from 27 metres. Onto the finances page. We are growing in reputation as a club. We've moved from a 2-star to a 2.5-star national reputation club. We have no new sponsorship deals for the year. We had 162,000 which is more than last season in sponsorship. We had slightly less in broadcast revenue. We had slightly less also in corporate and hospitality, but we won more in prize money from competitions, and our match day revenue was down slightly. Our total merchandise sales for the year were 1.05 million. That's 105,000 non-domestic sales, and we sold 9,914 shirts. So this is how we lined up. We rotated the team quite a lot, spreading out playing time and demonstrating our squad strength in depth. So it's got a goalkeeper that didn't play any games. That's quite strange. But then, actually, this is our best 11, I think. So yeah, this has still got last season. So in terms of players going into the best 11, I think it's stayed as it is despite us winning the league and having a second invincible season. So in terms of accolades, I won the Thai League Manager of the Year. Paulo Lima ended up winning Fans Player of the Season. It's quite impressive. He was a replacement defender at the end of last season, coming into this season. Axon Siri won Young Player of the Season, young left back. Santiago Melo was signing of the season. Goal of the season went to Faisal Zayed. Top goal scorer was Supachai Jaidid with 10 goals. Musaid Al Fawzan was top assister with 18. He also got Player of the Match awards 6, and he was the highest average rating of 7.8. In terms of record breakers, Paulo Lima broke the record for most goals in the game, which is impressive for a centre-back. He also got most goals by a player in a league game for that hat-trick. He also had worst discipline, with 14 yellows and no red cards. Our highest transfer fee paid was 1.2 million for Theatrical. We received 3.4 million for Ekanit Panya. The fastest goal of the season was scored by Sufanat Moanta, who scored after 26 seconds. And our oldest goal scorer was Wiria Udom Siri, who was 33 and 102 days. So, history in the making. The hard work and effort paid off on the pitch. Such a great feat didn't go unrewarded at our end of season ceremony. So we picked up the Thai League Cup, Thai Champions Cup, and it was a superb season. So that ends the review. I am now going to push on through to the start of the season, bring in any players that we need, hopefully strengthen that squad, and I'll be back with you shortly. Just quickly, before we go forwards into the transfers, the best 11 in the season review was obviously outdated, which took me by surprise, but here is the updated best 11. So Mele's gone in, Udom Siri was there from last season, Kelic from last season is still there, Paulo Lima, who came in to replace Kelic, has gone in, Wira Watnodom is in our right back, Bruno Gallo, who moved on, is in the centre with Al Fawzan, who was this season's top rated player. Faisal Zayed is on the left. Panya goes in the attacking midfielder role with Moanta out on the right wing, and Jadid goes in as the striker. So, with that done, we are now going to push on past the season break, past the team meeting, and we are going to get some transfers done. I will be back once they are completed. Okay, so we have jumped forward to the 7th of February 2022. Transfer deadline day has just been and gone, and we are going to have a look at some of the players that have come into the club. So we have Len de Haen, who is a Belgian. He can play anywhere on the left, anywhere through the middle in terms of midfield roles. He come highly recommended by our scouts. He only cost £1 million, which was quite good considering he is an 18-year-old who we're going to look to develop. He does take up one of our foreign player spots, which means that we have had to take Matthias Alves out of the team. We have agreed a deal for him to leave, but he doesn't actually move on just yet. We have signed Shinafat Liao, who is a defender right or centre back. He came in for a total fee of £185,000. We then paid £500,000 for Sarach Yuyan, who is a central midfielder who can play as a defensive midfielder or an attacking midfielder, which is a gap that we're looking to fill considering that Panya left the club. We signed Natawut Suksum, who is an attacking midfielder right or striker, can also play out on the left, so a similar player to Jadid, Sarachat and Moanta. He was a signing that I think is going to be a big one for the club. He is homegrown as well as being a home nation player, so he doesn't really take up any spots in terms of our foreign players. We signed Jetsada Pong Puta, signed him for £300,000. It's actually his second move in the save, so Port sold him on for quite a big profit to us. He is 17, so he'll be a player that we will look to develop as well. We have also signed Panuthap Thamarosapon. Some of these names are very difficult to pronounce, but we give it our best anyway. So we signed him for £240,000 plus a part exchange player, which I believe was a young goalkeeper. He is another player to develop. He is in the first team squad. He can play as a right back or a right wing back, so that's a place that we needed to fill. So he was a bargain. We then spent £1 million on Girafat Rungrueng, I think. He's a 17-year-old who can play as an attacking midfielder or a striker. He can also play wide left. He will be a development player. I think he will be in and around the first team, but he's very much a player that was recommended by the scouts as a work in progress to develop for the future. In terms of players that went out at the end of last season, there were nobody really of note. We had a lot of loan players that go out. This goalkeeper went out as part of the part exchange deal I was just telling you about. Lots of loans. We only had one player leave on a permanent, and that was Thamarat Tathib, and we had lots of interest in him for the past season, but we're trying to keep him. He become unsettled once we were not accepting bids, and then once we bought certain players in, it wasn't going to be good enough for the first team anyway. So when the season rolled over, we continued to sign players. We signed Kong Jumper, who is a striker. He's more than likely going to be a backup, but he's only a 17-year-old. He's 15 finishing, 8 pace, but 11 acceleration. He also has 14 for his work rate and 14 for his composure, so hopefully in front of goal he can turn into a player that will long-term score goals for the club. And we started signing some players that were youth players with a bit of development. The scouts were throwing up all kinds of names for young players. So this is a 16-year-old Siwilawi Misa. He is a defensive midfielder or midfielder centre who will hopefully develop into a very good player. He's got 12 tackling, 18 for bravery. His work rate and his teamwork are good. His leadership is also good for a young player. His natural fitness is quite high, so hopefully he will come along quite nicely. We signed Surachet Masuk, who is another midfielder / attacking midfielder. He came in for cheap as a 17-year-old, who is another one who we're going to look to develop. We signed Tadpong Daengfan, another 17-year-old. He's coming in with a 2-star current ability, but a 4.5-star potential ability. He has a high finishing stat. He's not the quickest player, but does have decent acceleration. And again, his work rate, he's off the ball. Some of these mental stats may show that he could develop into a future starter. And his ability to play off both the right wing and as a striker is something that interested me. And we also signed Weerathep Pomfan. He is going to be a first team player, more of a backup than a starter, but came in on the cheap from Praychup. And he's a player who is pretty much already established. I think he was on the cusp of breaking into the national team for his previous club, so we're going to try and progress him a little bit, see if he can't make that step up with us. And then in terms of players that went out, again, 4 loans, nobody really of note. Masuk, who he signed over here, went straight out on loan to S2E8 United. And then Bassam Radwan, who he signed from last season, also went out. In terms of the club finances, that leaves us with 1.497 million as a transfer budget. We have overall balance of 2.889 in the bank. We are currently just under our wage budget at £93,509, which means that if we need any reinforcements later on in the season, we can go out and replace anybody who needs replacing. So, as a bonus for this episode, didn't mention it at the start, but we're going to do it anyway. We are going to go in and play our first game of the season, which is going to be the Champions Cup game against Chain at Hornbill. So let's have a look at who's going to make the first lineup for the opening game of the season. Okay, so this is the team that is going to take on Chain at Hornbill in that Thai Champions Cup game. We have got Melee in goal, Akon Siri at left back, Lima and Pong Putta at the back with Thamarasapon at right back. We've got Alforzan and Pwangjan in the middle. Muante is starting wide left, Dehane in the middle with Sarachat out on the right. Suksum is going to start up front. One thing to note before we do move on is Muanta is actually unsettled at the club at the moment. Despite being one of our key players, he feels it's time to move on and wants to move to a bigger club. Unfortunately for him, our transfer window has just finished. Nobody came in for him anyway, so he's going to continue at the club at least until the next transfer window or until a massive club come in, because I've got no intention of letting him go. Certainly not at the money that he is currently valued at. I just don't think it'd be a good move for anybody if it was to just let him go at this moment, so he will stay at the club. So let's get on into the match action and try and get that first piece of silverware for the season. Okay, so the game starts off. We've got a corner that's swung in. Pwangjan picks it up on the outside of the box, places it to Dehane, who's had a shot. His left-footed shot goes just wide off the post. And that's a quick start from us. We've now got a free kick on the edge of the area, which Alforzan is going to take. Just waiting as the player runs back and forth in front of the wall. Not sure what the hold-up is. Steps up, takes it, and he drives the right-footed shot just wide of the post as well. So we've had 2 early chances and given Chain at Hornbill 2 early warnings. Hopefully we won't miss too many more of those. Lima with the corner that's swung in, gets headed back out. Alforzan picks it up, plays it to Pong Putta, who lays it back to Pwangjan, to Dehane, plays it to Muanta. He's going to keep that in play, I think. He swings it back in. Dehane's had a shot that hits the inside of the post. It comes back out and it can't get put over the line. It's cleared away by Chain at Hornbill. We are knocking on the door in this game. It's a little bit frustrating that we haven't put any of these chances away, considering we are having all of the ball, all of the chances, and Chain at Hornbill look like they are struggling to get out. But saying that, they have had a corner and they have put the ball on top of the crossbar from that corner. Maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for us. The last thing that we need is to be conceding a goal when we're on top in this game, because they look like they want to sit back and try and defend deep and catch us on a counter, which is something that teams do try in this game against our tactic, it seems. But we're on the attack again. Dehane's going to have a shot from distance. Hit that one wide. And we are up to an XG of 1.05 already from 12 shots, but only 3 of those hitting the target as the end of the half comes. We're going to leave the team as it is to start the second half, as even though we haven't scored a goal, the performance has been good. We're going to try and work this one out from the back. The goalkeeper plays it out wide. Gets play forward to Sarachat. Back to Al Farzan, who plays it to Dehane. He's going to run forward. He's going to have a go from distance. Straight down the goalkeeper's throat, though. And again, it's one of those chances where there probably were better options on, and one of our players decides to just have a go from distance. Looking at our shot map, that seems to be happening quite a lot, where we are having a lot of the ball, just not a lot of substance with it. Having a corner here that's swung in, goes over everybody, but Dehane keeps it in. He's played it back in. It comes to Mwanta, who's had 2 stabs at it. Can't force it into the goal either. And we're at 70 minutes, and I can't believe we haven't scored in this game. We've had shots hit the inside of the post. We've had shots that have been ricocheting around in the box and get deflected. And here comes an attack from Chain at Hornbill. They play the ball out wide. It's going to get crossed in. Luckily, it gets cleared away. Mwanta's onto it in a flash. And now we've got a 3-on-2 situation. Beats one man, and then has a tame shot that goes wide. We really should have done a lot better there with that breakaway. Thought that with the counter-attack would have given us a really good chance at making something happen. I'm going to make a couple of substitutions. I'm going to bring Suxham off and put Jaded up front, and Dehane's going to come off and Theatrical's going to come on. See if we can freshen it up in the final third. As it stands, this game is just petering out, and we're not looking likely to win this in normal time. Chain at Hornbill have had a free kick, played straight through to Melee, who is now facing up to our own defender, which is a bit strange, but kicks it out, gets headed back. Samarasapon's going to beat his man. He's running all the way down the right wing. What's he going to do with it here? He lays it back to Sarachat, who plays it to Theatrical, and that was the chance, I think. Theatrical's hit it over the bar from the edge of the box, and with 2 minutes added on, this game is going to extra time. It's not the performance that we really wanted at the start of the season. I don't know whether there's a bit of lack of cohesion with new players in the team, or whether it's tiredness from pre-season, or maybe the hangover from last season with the failure of getting into the Champions League. But this is not a performance that I was expecting first time out. Now got a knock at left back. Don't have anybody who can play there, so Hervey Boom's going to come on down there. And then we've got defending to do. There's a free kick that comes in. Again, they've hit the top of the bar. They look dangerous from set pieces. So we reach half time and extra time. Still no goals in this boring game. And Chain at Hornbill now, we've got an attack, but we cut it out with Lima. Theatrical plays it to Jaded. He's had a shot from distance and it goes wide of the post. That has been the story of this game. We have had 36 shots, only 8 on target. And it's absolutely crazy that there hasn't been a goal. But Theatrical's pushing forwards, cuts inside, lays it off to Mwanta, who plays it forward to Jaded, plays it into the box. Mwanta's hit the ball, it's gone through to Sarachat. He finally toe pokes it home. 115 minutes of football, and there's the first goal of the game, which hopefully is going to be the winning goal. Jaded cuts it into Mwanta. I think he's having a shot there. The goalkeeper pushes it into the path of Sarachat, who taps it in at the back post. He runs off celebrating. And it's looking like we're going to get a free kick here. Theatrical's hit the post this time from a free kick, left-footed, smashes off the post, but with only a minute of added on time. Got the throw in. It's played back to Hervey Boom. Plays it to Sarachat, brings it down nicely, tries a pass that gets intercepted, and as it's cleared away, it's going to go out of play for a throw-in. I think we're just going to run the clock down here. Throw-in comes in, Theatrical beats the man, crosses it in. Jaded looks like he's brought down, But somehow Moanta lays it off to Savachat, who's had a wild shot that goes wide. But it doesn't matter, luckily. 1-0 win in extra time is enough to get us the first trophy of the third season. It's going to be the Champions Cup. As the players go up onto the rostrum, going to take the trophy and hand it over Pwangjan. Little shuffle before he lifts the trophy in the air. The players are delighted. Everybody in the stand is delighted. Somehow, I think the champions host this game, not like in England where it's played at a neutral venue. I think whoever wins the trophy hosts the game, so we were actually playing at home for this game. So the fans are delighted, the players are delighted, and that's a great way to start the brand new season. So if you've enjoyed the episode and are looking forward to seeing us play the league games in the third season, hit the subscribe button so you can stay informed of when new videos are released. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit the thumbs up button. If you've got anything to say about the series, let me know. Try and respond to as many as I can. And until the next video, I'll see you all soon.